Good evening. Welcome to Grandma's Attic Music Review. It's such a joy to be with you on this warm summer evening. It's beautiful out. Summer is in full swing, and I hope that you're taking full advantage of all the wonderful things that happen in our community during the summer months. So tonight for you, I have one of those summer month kind of happenings. We have back with us one of our favorite guests. He's been with us before, and I guarantee and promise he'll be with us again. But tonight he's going to talk about all the wonderful things going on during the summer with him. And he's going to play some wonderful music that brings back reminiscences of water and summer and maybe some politically correct things too. Please help me welcome into your home, into your living room, into your wherever you're watching from, Mr. Geoff Kaufman.
In the good old colony days, when we lived under the king, three roguish chaps fell into mishaps because they would not sing. Because they would not sing. Three roguish chaps fell into mishaps because they would not sing. Now the first one, he was a miller, and the second one, he was a weaver, and the third one was a little tailor boy. Three roguish chaps together, three roguish chaps together, and the third one was a little tailor boy. Three roguish chaps together. Ah, the miller, he stole corn, the weaver, he stole yarn, and the little tailor boy stole enough broadcloth to keep those three rogues warm. Keep those three rogues warm, and the little tailor boy stole enough broadcloth to keep those three rogues warm. But the miller was drowned in his mill, the weaver was hung in his yarn, and the devil flew away with the little tailor boy and the broadcloth under his arm, and the broadcloth under his arm, and the devil flew away with the little tailor boy and the broadcloth under his arm. Well, the miller still drowns in his mill, the weaver still hangs in his yarn, and the little tailor boy still runs through hell with a broadcloth under his arm, with a broadcloth under his arm, with a broadcloth under his arm, and the little tailor boy still runs through hell with a broadcloth under his arm. So in the good old colony days, when we lived under the king, three roguish chaps fell into mishaps because they would not sing, because they would not sing, because they would not sing. Three roguish chaps fell into mishaps because they would not sing.
Well, I start off with that just because of a couple of things. One, I like to sing that as a cautionary tale. To those people that are shy about singing along with anything that has a decent chorus, from my years of singing with Pete Seeger as one of the sloop singers for the Hudson River sloop Clearwater, I became infatuated with the idea of people singing along if there's ever a chance to. So don't be shy out there. And the other reason for that is that on June 24th, I'll be at 11:30 in the morning up at the Lyman Allen Art Museum for their Summer Fest. And I'll be starting the day off by doing a set of songs for the younger folks. And that's always a lot of fun, and getting young people to sing along with a song like that is always great fun. So I'll be doing that on the 24th, and I'm actually doing later that evening, I'll be singing at the Hygienic. So there I'll probably be doing a little different repertoire. Recently was involved in a climate change conference hosted by Rise Up Mystic, of which I am a member. And we're trying to figure out ways to talk to a lot of the issues that people are thinking about these days. And that in particular at that conference, I did a set of songs, and I talked about the need to have music as a part of the conversation. It's certainly been an important part of the conversation, many movements in the past. And I was trying to figure out what a theme song for that could be. And I haven't really heard a climate change theme song yet, but this one, one that I've sung for a long time from Bob Zentz from down in Norfolk, Virginia, certainly speaks to a lot of the questions of environmental concern these days.
Fragments of another sunset, ashes of another dawn, drowned in time's immortal ocean. All too soon we may be gone. This old earth has seen a lot of living. This old earth, the stories she could tell. This old earth is finished with the giving. This old earth we used so well. Now the playground stands deserted in the yellow afternoon, and the cotton candy children have all gone home too soon, and the tree of knowledge trembles, for the truth was ours before. Will we be like Eden's lovers, driven from the garden door? So what will it take from nature, and what must it take from man for the future generations to save the sky, the sea, the land? This old earth has seen a lot of living. This old earth, the stories she could tell. This old earth is finished with the giving. This old earth we used so well. So we who use the earth must answer. Who's to lose and who's to win? And while we're watching where we're going, we must see where we have been. Endangered species and pollution, the waste, the rubble of the dream. And while we all look for solutions, remember we all live downstream. So ask a child what really matters. Ask your friends what they will do. Ask the leaders you've elected, but it really lies with you. This old earth has seen a lot of living. This old earth we've used from end to end. This old earth is finished with the giving. This old earth could use a friend.
Well, actually, that last sense in that song is that it is up to us to take action, and I think resistance is a good word to use these days. One of the pleasures I have in the summer is getting down east to Maine on a regular basis and to sing various, particularly maritime stuff. And one of my favorite songs that comes out of Maine is from Gordon Bach from Camden, Maine, who many years ago wrote this song about helping someone take a vessel from Bar Harbor, Maine, over to Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. And of course, you go across the mouth of the Bay of Fundy to do that, and as is often the case, they were caught in fog that just rises up out of the water, and for a week or more, they were drifting around, not quite sure where they were. And the captain's wife was humming a tune, and Gordon asked if he could use it to make a song.
Oh, you Maine men, proud and young, when you run your easting down, don't go down to Fundy Bay, she'll wear your time away. Fundy's long and Fundy's wide, Fundy's fog and rain and tide, never see the sun or sky, just a green wave going by. Cape Sable's horn blows all day long, wonder why, wonder why. Now you know I'd rather ride Grenfell Strait or the Breton Tide, spend my days on the Labrador and never see old Fundy shore. Spend my days on the Labrador and never see old Fundy shore. Give her staysail, give her main, in the darkness and the rain. I don't mind the wet and cold, I just don't like the growing old. I don't mind the wet and cold, I just don't like the growing old. Cape Sable's horn blows all day long, wonder why, wonder why. East by east or east northeast, give her what she steers the best. I don't want this foggy wave to be my far and lonely grave. I don't want this foggy wave to be my far and lonely grave. Cape Sable's horn blows all day long, fog and rain, fog and rain. Cape Breton's bell rings in the swell, rings for me, rings for me.
Well, coming from up in those waters a little further east, out of Newfoundland, comes this next song. Again, coming out of my days with the Hudson River sloop Clearwater, I think a lot about the environment and particularly about what we're doing to the oceans. And there's lots of talk these days about all of the things that we are doing to impact the oceans of the world. And a lot of that has to do with overfishing the various resources or deciding that we deserve them more than the rest of the creatures that are in those oceans. And as we do that, we upset the balance and we actually do terrific destruction. So a fellow by the name of Jim Payne out of Newfoundland brought this song to Mystic Seaport years ago to a sea music festival. And it's called Where Do the Capelin Go? The capelin are a little herring type fish. Of course, they school in great numbers and then they're chased by larger fish. And sometimes they run them right up on the beach. These capelin are just trying to escape and they get right up on the sand. But then, of course, the fish that are chasing them, if they be codfish, well, they're getting caught too by us. And all of that is in this song.
Where do the capelin go? Where do the capelin go after throwing their bodies washed up on the beach from birdfish and net trying to stay out of reach? If we could but learn what these silver schools teach about trying to survive in the ocean while we try to live on the shore. Where do the codfish go that once filled the depths of the bountiful sea, took with it livelihoods precious and free, vanished into the jaws of technology? How can they survive in the ocean when we take the last one ashore? Where do the whales go when the capelin and codfish are caught in the chase? What in the water will take their place? Or will all sea creatures have to give up the race of trying to survive in the ocean while we try to live on the shore? Where do the fishermen go when there's not enough fish left to feed families fed our forefathers for 5 centuries? Now life by the water's a fond memory of when fish survived in the ocean and we used to live on the shore.
Well, that's sort of a little bit of a frightening song in some ways. There's lots written about what we're doing to the ocean resources, and it's worth taking a good look at all that. But have a little more fun. Oh, by the way, that's a lot of songs like that are ones that I may be singing on August 17th on a Thursday night down at Connecticut River Museum. I'll be doing the Thursdays on the Docks concert down there. That starts at 5:30. And that will be a place where I sing a lot of that good maritime stuff and a lot of good history stuff. But meanwhile, also, quite further down the line, I'll be doing a Friday night folk concert off in 2018 in January 19th. And I always I split that concert. I've been doing it for many years now. So I bring in a favorite friend or another act that I really want to have around and listen to and maybe play with. And this year it's going to be Larry Kaplan, who's written some songs that an awful lot of people have been singing around the folk circles for a while. And one of his favorite songs is one that he wrote about a character, a sailor out of Martha's Vineyard by the name of Zebulon Northrop Tilton. Now, I always like to say that if you get named Zebulon, you better grow up to be strong and big, because somebody's going to poke you for that name. But that was okay, because Zeb grew up to be about 6'6" and about 4 feet across at the shoulder. And nobody ever messed with Zeb. Now, he didn't, he wanted to sail all his life, and he got on schooners as quick as he could, and he actually found a schooner in South Norwalk, Connecticut, by the name of the Lizzie Tolls that he bought and then renamed the Alice Wentworth, which is apparently it was the name she was launched under originally. But anyway, he sailed that vessel for many years as its captain. And Zeb was such a well-known character that Hollywood stars went out to Martha's Vineyard to sail with him. And he never really had any difficulty sailing. He had a liability that if you look at a picture of him, you could see that he was, in fact, very cross-eyed. It's kind of a peculiar look. You have a hard time figuring out how he navigated anywhere. Never caused him a problem sailing. They used to say if there was dew on the grass, Zeb and the Alice could sail anywhere. But finally, his eyes did deteriorate and he had to come ashore. And his daughters, Rosalie and Gertrude, would take him down to the docks to see his vessel, the Alice Wentworth, sail in under someone else's command. So out of that, Larry put this song together with a chorus of Rosie, get my Sunday shoes. Gertie, get my walking cane. We'll take another walk to see old Alice sail again.
Oh, Rosie, get my Sunday shoes. Gertie, get my walking cane. And we'll take another walk to see old Alice sail again. I'm not tired of the wind, I'm not weary of the sea. She's probably had a belly full of a damned old coot like me. I'm going ashore, she's bound for better days, but I'll see her topsails flying as she come down on the wave. And I say, Rosie, get my Sunday shoes. Gertie, get my walking cane. And we'll take another walk to see old Alice sail again. Well, I wish I had a nickel for each man I used to know. Could load 3 cords of timber in a half an hour or so. And we'd raise the sail by hauling instead of donkeying around. And I'd be the poorest coaster man this side of Edgartown. And I say, Rosie, get my Sunday shoes. Gertie, get my walking cane. And we'll take another walk to see old Alice sail again. Well, any fool can run an engine, takes brains to work a sail, and I've never seen a steamer make much good out of a gale. And you can go and pay your taxes on the rationed gas you get, but at least to me the wind is free and they haven't run out yet. And I say, Rosie, get my Sunday shoes. Gertie, get my walking cane. And we'll take another walk to see old Alice sail again. So if I ever get back to her, I'll treat her just the same. Jibe her when I want to, boys and sail in the freezing rain. And I'll park old Alice on the beach, go dancing into town, 'cause a man who's fit for hanging probably never will get drowned. And I say, Rosie, get my Sunday shoes, Gertie, get my walking cane, and we'll take another walk to see old Alice sail again. And I say, Rosie, get my Sunday shoes, Gertie, get my walking cane, and we'll take another walk to see old Alice sail again.
Well, I want to do a couple of, maybe a couple of songs more here that relate to opinions of opinions about immigration and all the people that are in this country who may be threatened with deportation and things like that. A good friend of mine, Jan Christensen in New York City, wrote a song in 1986, probably 1985, for the 1986 centennial celebration of Ellis Island. And I like to sing this in support of all of the people that have come here over the years, many of them through Ellis Island, and the people that have come more recently and are here now and that we're trying to support, particularly with a lot of wonderful efforts here in New London. So in their honor, I sing. Oh, and I should just say that I just yesterday sang for a naturalization ceremony at Mystic Seaport, which happens every year on Flag Day. And I get to sing this song for 74 people that are being naturalized on that given day as of yesterday. Fabulous with all of their families, just an incredible event and a wonderful chance to honor them. So this is Ellis Island.
Oh, my name is Juan, and I come to this country on the boat lift from Mario Bay. As I walk the streets of your city, I heard some people say they all look funny and they don't speak English and they're taking our jobs away. But from out of the past I heard people who said, from an island in New York Bay, Ellis Island, come down the gangplank, go through the door, stand on the long, long line. Do you have TB or a social disease? Do your hands and your legs work fine? Do you have some relatives there on the shore who can vouch for your sanity? If you make it through the day, they will stamp your card and say, hey, hey, welcome to the land of the free. Well, my name is Pat, and I come from Killarney, where I worked it with both my hands. But the crops, they failed, agents came, threw me off of my land. So across the ocean with a pack on my back, and I hope they will let me stay. The old world is gone, but I see a new home from this island in New York Bay. Ellis Island, come down the gangplank, go through the door, stand on the long, long line. Do you have TB or a social disease? Do your hands and your legs work fine? Do you have some relatives there on the shore who can vouch for your sanity? If you make it through the day, they will stamp your card and say, hey, hey, welcome to the land of the free. Oh, my name is Rivka. I come from Russia, where I never knew luxury. The Cossacks came with their swords and their guns, and they killed all my family. And so I came here where people don't live in fear, and I'll sweat in your dress shops all day. Though I'm tattered and worn, I see dreams being born from this island in New York Bay. Ellis Island, come down the gangplank, go through the door, long, long line. Do you have TB or a social disease? Your hands and your legs work fine. Do you have some relatives there on the shore who can vouch for your sanity? And if you make it through the day, they will stamp your card and say, hey, hey, welcome to the land of the free. Oh, my name is Guido. I come from Palermo, where I led the bricks all day. But I had a dream that was bigger than Palermo. That's why I sailed away. So I'll build your subways, I'll climb your buildings, and I'll save up all of my pay. So next year my wife and my children can come to this island in New York Bay. This island, come down the gangplank, go through the door, stand on the long, long line. Do you have TB or a social disease? Your hands and your legs work fine. Do you have some relatives there on the shore who can vouch for your sanity? And if you make it through the day, they will stamp your card and say, hey, hey, welcome to the land of the free. So we are the ghosts of old Ellis Island. We have our tales to tell. Some of us left a good life to come here. Some left a living hell. Well, we crossed the ocean and we made this country, as you will in your very own way. So to those who have come, we all say welcome home to this island in New York Bay. Ellis Island, come down the gangplank, go through the door, stand on the long, long line. Do you have TB or a social disease? Your hands and your legs work fine. Do you have some relatives there on the shore who can vouch for your sanity? And if you make it through the day, they will stamp your card and say, hey, hey, welcome to the land of the free. And if you make it through the day, they will stamp your card and say, hey, hey, welcome to the land of the free.
Woo!
And I have to say that that crowd of people were singing that last line, welcome to the land of the free. Well, maybe one more, and this one kind of fits the same theme. I sang this for them as well, but this comes out of the Clearwater years when Lori Wyatt, a wonderful songwriter, realized that lots of Spanish-speaking kids were coming on board, and he wanted to give them a chorus they could sing. So the chorus is, Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me. Oh, the stream sings it to the river sings it to the sea sings it to the boat that carries you and me. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me. Now the boat we are sailing on was built by many hands, and the sea we are sailing on, it touches every strand. Somos el barco, somos el mar,
el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me. So with our hopes, we raise the sail to catch the wind once more, and with our hearts we chart the waters never sailed before. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me.
All right. So while Geoff is getting over here and getting hooked up, let me just tell you about a few of the wonderful things going on. It is summertime in New London County, and boy, the concerts and the free events and the, some of you got to pay for events are coming up. And one I want to talk to you about real quick is, first of all, the Yappy Hour is going to be on June 24th over in Central Bark Dog Park in Groton, and that is an open, fun thing to bring your dog to and go out and socialize and get to know some of your neighbors and friends. What a fun time that will be. Also, that same day, down at the Hygienic Art Park will be the Shoreline Acoustic Music Festival. I believe, Geoff, you're in that, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Geoff will be there, and any number of other acoustic musicians will be there. That is going on this year. It's usually during the Sailfest show. This year it's going to be going on from 6 to 9 on the 24th down at the Hygienic Art Park. So get out and support your local musicians, support local galleries, support local anything local. Let's support it. Let's talk to Geoff now. Welcome, Geoff. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure, thanks for having me back.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what a favor you did for me for being here today, and it's wonderful to be able to call on you to come out at such short notice, but also knowing that you have so many interesting things that you can talk about. Now, you're doing a lot of things this summer. What are some of the interesting things that you're going to be doing? Maybe local and maybe not so local.
Right. Well, I made mention of a few things, like that hygienic show. I'll be a part of that, and I'll be on at 8 o'clock. It's a wonderful lineup of our local talent.
Yep.
Earlier that day, I'll be at the Lyman Allen.
Nice.
Doing their Summerfest event. And then I actually end up traveling a fair amount down east to Maine during the summer. So I do a week-long cruise on one of the schooners.
Nice.
Out of Rockland, the Janie Riggin. And I've been doing that many years now. It's wonderful. Like 24 people come aboard, and I get to do afternoon and evening concerts essentially for them. I do a lot of themed things, history-based programs, and then the evening it's more general. But both of the captains, it's co-captained by a couple who are also wonderful singers and players.
Oh, nice.
So one night we do just a round robin with us, and so that's great fun. And then the following week I actually end up going to Swan's Island for a wild and woolly gathering of like 40 performers from across the U.S.
Oh, nice.
They used to be more focused in Boston, but now they've spread across the country, and so people from LA, people from Ohio, and it's basically a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night concerts in the Oddfellows Hall on Swans Island.
Nice.
It's called the Sweet Chariot Festival, named after the song. That's just an amazing event. As
Sounds
with many
wonderful.
festivals, it's not just the concert that we might do, but then everybody goes somewhere for the after hours thing, and it goes on until 3 in the morning.
Of course. You've made quite a life for yourself. Geoff, what made you start following music for one, but following the vein of music that you follow?
A couple of things. Certainly my experience, I was living in New York City, and I'd met up with these fellows who became the Quartet Stout, named after Guinness, of course.
Okay, of course.
But, and we were doing sea songs, and we were invited to Mystic Seaport back in 1980 and all of that. But at the same time, before, I'd met with them and we were singing that sea repertoire, but then the Clearwater sailed into Brooklyn, where I was living at the time. And as soon as I met the boat and the people who were on it, who were singing and playing music, I said, I need to be a part of this. So I became one of the Hudson River Sloop Singers in 1979, I guess.
Now, who else was involved in that we should know of?
Well, the person who, of course, created the whole thing was Pete Seeger.
Of course.
He had the vessel built, and then actually people like Gordon Bach were on the original crew when the vessel came out of Maine, where it was built in South Bristol, Maine. It had a singing and playing crew, and they did concerts all the way down the coast.
Nice.
And actually, this coming weekend, even though I won't be there because I'm singing for Tall Ships Things in Boston, but the annual Clearwater Revival is happening.
Oh, nice.
And on Sunday of that event, the Clearwater is setting sail to go back down to Washington.
Now, would that be the 18th or the 25th?
The 18th. Yes, this coming weekend.
That's tomorrow morning, by the way, if you want to go. Don't worry. I know what I'm talking about.
You do?
Yes, because it's Saturday night.
Of course.
Where people are singing.
So many years ago, the Clearwater physically went to Washington, D.C. Now, this is a sailboat. I mean, it has an engine, but it's a long trip for a vessel like that. But she went down to make statement of the day, and she's going back to do that.
Nice.
And I actually wrote a song when I was involved in those days with the Sloop Singers. I wrote a song called Sailboat Clearwater, which has a verse in it about even in Washington she can be found. So on Sunday she's leaving for Washington again.
Nice.
So all of that was being involved with the Clearwater had a tremendous impact on me several ways, introducing me to an environmental repertoire that I hadn't really been that conscious of before, and to a style of singing. Part of that is if you're trying to get people to think about something, you want to include them in whatever ways you can, including singing the songs.
Absolutely.
So you try to get that part of it happening. So all of that was very important to me. However, my tracks with that maritime music led me to Mystic Seaport,
Right.
Which gave me a day job starting in 1984, and I've worked there fairly full-time for a number of years, and then quite part-time more recently, so that I can travel more. So those two avenues of my music have been kind of interesting in the sense that they also cross a good deal of my environmental repertoire is dealing with the maritime issues, how we treat rivers and the whole crisis of water throughout the world.
Absolutely. Now you're not really a big songwriter, and you look for music. Where do you look for new music nowadays?
Well, I'm looking to that community of people, particularly that come out of that Clearwater sensibility. Although, also, I just had a sea music festival
Yes, you
at
did.
Mystic Seaport,
of which I'm the director, and I get to hear these people coming who are writing songs now, most of them having maritime themes. So that's one of the places I get to hear new music. But I'm also looking toward people like Magpie, other singers that I know from my years of working with the Clearwater, and listening to what they're writing to see what I might want to pick up from them.
Yep, that's wonderful. The old songs that you've found and you've brought back to life, a lot of them are sing-alongs. Do you like it when the audience jumps in and sings with you, or
Absolutely.
do you? Yeah, does that
one
does
of the
that
great
feed
pleasures
you?
of my life is to get an entire audience singing a chorus.
That's nice. I know that you have some very near and dear fans that actually are fans of my radio show, and they call me up and talk to me about what you're doing. It was because of them that I found you the first time that I ever met you, was because of them and their love for you and for harmonizing with you. So that's a lot of fun. Where do you want to take your music the most? If you could pack up and just take your music one place, anywhere in the world, and money wasn't an issue, where would you go? What would you do with that? Where would you take your music if you could go anywhere you wanted for any time, any amount of time?
That's a wonderful question, but it probably wouldn't be one place, but maybe one of the places I'd want to start would be a place like Poland.
Nice.
Where there's a maritime music thing that goes on, but there's also a sort of a nascent environmental movement, because the Wisła River that runs through the entirety of Poland is incredibly polluted, and things need to be done to make things a lot healthier for a lot of people. So in as much as I know some people there, that's a place that I would like to go and sing both of my repertoires.
Nice.
Which would happen. I've been there several times singing the maritime repertoire, but the shanties and all of that. But I'd love to take the Clearwater message there in a stronger way than I've been able to do in the past.
Nice. Now, when you're looking for music, do you look more for sea shanties or more for environmental music? Which is more of your passion?
Well,
I know that you're a passionate man. I see it in all the times that you play and in the way that you interact with your audience. Which cause, per se, are you more impassioned by?
I have to say the environmental music is what moves me more greatly, and what I would like to take out. And I created a 2-act performance piece called Natural Reflections, which is a combination of nature writers' writings from Thoreau on through Farley Mowat and people like that, paired with songs that I sing. And I think it's very powerful. I've produced it several times, but I'd really like to take that out and travel that around. And I'm working on how to get that done. Because I think right now, the maritime music is a delight to be a part of and to be in the middle of a bunch of people singing it. One of the great things about the festival that I do is that at the end of the concerts, a bunch of people, like 150 or 200 people, retire to whatever place we've picked, and they just sing for another 3 or 4 hours. And anybody in that audience can lead a song, and many of them do. I mean, lots of good singers are a part of that. But everybody sings the choruses.
Yep.
And so you're kind of immersed in this vibrant community. So that's a wonderful thing. But that doesn't satisfy my need to try to do something to improve this world, to try to help some of the things that I see as crucial, and that we need to have people thinking about the effects that we have had on this earth, and not in combination. I mean, we've impacted species, we've impacted the quality of water,
Right.
very sooner than people want to know, we're going to be, we are already impacting ourselves.
Right.
Millions
really
of
are.
people are suffering because of what we're doing. And one of the songs that I sing, maybe we'll run out with this one, I don't know. Paul Kaplan, a different Kaplan,
Yep.
wrote a new version to an old shanty, or not a shanty, but a whaling ballad. And it's called Call Me the Whale. And at the end of that song, the whale is saying, if you treat each other the way you've treated me. Basically, the song is about us doing in the whale from the
Yep.
point of view of the whale.
Yep.
But he says, if you treat each other the way you've treated me, I think I'm going to survive. And it's a great warning
Yeah.
to us that if we
We'll do ourselves
do ourselves in,
and the whales will
other-
outlive us.
Nature is an amazing
Absolutely.
recuperative thing, and
I want to say something I think is something that you and I have never really talked about on my show before, but it bears saying, because if you were a single man, you would be doing all this traveling and it wouldn't really impact anybody else. But you have this incredibly amazing wife, Penny, and she's just a sweetheart. How does she feel about all your traveling and about what you do for a living to bring home the income? Because it's a little not normal, the way that you make a living for your household is not a normal way of making a living.
well, yeah, I think there are plenty of other people in our circle who are that you could ask that question of. In Penny's case, she doesn't like to travel quite as much as I do, although we're working on setting ourselves up so that we can travel together more.
Nice.
But she's not fond of traveling with me when I'm doing music because I'm so involved in the music.
Yeah.
And she, unless there are other people that are with other performers that she can hang out with, it gets to be a little bit lonely.
Well, we
And,
want to thank Penny for what she does and for her support of you, because without her, I think that you would be a very different sort of performer and
absolutely.
sort of man. She has definitely encouraged you and supported you in all you've done. As always, we've run out of time. I hate it when we get to this point in the show, especially with you. We have so much to talk about. Real quick, just give out some dates and times where people can find you in the next few weeks, real quick, and then
Okay.
take it over and take us out with a song if you would.
June 24th, both at the Lyman Allen in the morning at 11:30 and 8 o'clock at night as a part of that wonderful
Down
roster.
at the Hygienic Art Park, 6 to 9 p.m.
And then the other really local thing that I'll be doing is August 17th, Thursday night,
Yep.
down at Connecticut River Museum. Thursdays
Wonderful.
on the docks at
Wonderful.
5:30.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Geoff, for
Sure.
coming on my show. And please take us out with a song. While Geoff is getting out, let me just remind you guys that Pride New London is coming up. It starts the week of August 20th with the Short Film Festival down at Expressions, which is right across the street from the Hygienic. You can find all this stuff up on the website. What is it, newlondonpride.com?
New London Pride.
Okay, New London Pride, just Google that and you'll find all the stuff. There's a whole week full of activities, including food and painting and ice cream and you name it, it's coming up. So we'll talk more about that in the weeks to come. Let's let Geoff take us out with the song. Until next week, everybody, bye-bye and have a really great week.
Where the stone walls run to the face of the cliff. So many times my love and I have wandered here like this, where the waters that flow past the mouth of the bay have brushed the shores of distant lands half a world away. Just last week we waded in the waters of the Nile, dropped our line into the brine of a South Pacific isle, and the waters underneath beneath our bow knew Jonah and the whale. There's a right-hand side of Moses Sea left here in this pail. And the waters here within my hand once washed a mermaid's hair. Sir Francis Drake's armada sank on that ripple over there. And these 3 small drops upon the oar did float Ulysses home, as around and round and round the world the restless waters roam, where the stone walls run to the face of the cliff. So many times my love and I wandered here like this, where the waters that flow past the mouth of the bay have brushed the shores of distant lands half a world away. Small drop of water turned the first rock into sand. This one here ran off the back of the first fish upon land. And this one graced Atlantis as it sank beneath the wave. And this one kept a vigil